are listening to Happy Hour Hustle, a bi-weekly podcast featuring the musings and witty remarks of the one and only Kim Bodie. We can promise at least 2 terrible jokes out of Kim and at least 10 minutes of incredible thought leadership from some amazing and influential guests. So grab a glass of iced red wine and join us for a wild ride. Here's Kim.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Happy Hour Hustle. I'm really excited because you'll notice that we have a new intro in this podcast. We also are rolling out a couple new segments to make this even more exciting than it already was. So you won't just have to listen to my bad jokes. There will be other things that we can talk about as well. So today we are talking about influencers, what you didn't know you needed to know, and all the other things that we think about them. I have Emily Potts, who's our senior account executive, on today. Hey.
Hello.
Thanks for being here.
I'm supposed to be here 9 to 5 every day.
Oh, so that's true. It's true. So we're going to jump into our icebreaker. We've got a couple icebreakers for you. First, obviously, we have to open up with what's your drink of choice.
Right. Okay, I'd say in the fall or winter, I'd go for a Guinness, but in spring and summer, I would probably choose a Moscow Mule.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just like a straight up Moscow Mule, not any one of the fancy ones.
Just straight up.
All right.
Just a classic.
Cool.
Got to
All
be
right.
in a copper mug, though.
Oh, yeah, obviously. I hear you get cancer from those things. I don't know.
Great, thanks.
Yep, you're welcome. Not sure if that's true at all. Somebody should probably Google that while we're doing this. All right, so next one is 3 things you can't live without.
Oh, boy. Okay, goldfish crackers.
Nice.
My comfy blankets, and my family and boyfriend, I guess. I should probably say that.
Things. You have to say things. They don't count.
Oh, people. Okay, a third thing. My phone.
Your phone.
Yeah.
Fair. And we both have blankets.
Cozy
Blankies, technically.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Actually, the thing, it would be my stuffed animal, but I just love
Oh,
cozy
that's right. You have the
blankets, and
stuffed animal. I have the
8
blankie.
of them.
Yeah, we're like 12 over here.
We're adults.
Actually, more like 7. All right, so we're going to roll out one of our next segments because it features my favorite things, which is pets, and then also the life lessons that they teach you. So, probably a little known fact, you have a cat named Lily.
I do. She's adorable.
Mm-hmm. All right, so not that cats can really teach you anything, besides aloofness and how to cough up a hairball, but if there was anything that Lily taught you, what would it be?
Oh, she's taught me so much.
Has she?
I would say how to find like the comfiest spot in the room. Like she's a master at that. She'll find like the tiny ray of sunshine and lay in that, usually showing off her belly. So it's okay to show off your belly a little bit too.
Oh, nice.
Get cozy.
Nice. Yeah.
And she's really sneaky and good at like scaring people. So sometimes she'll sit on top of the fridge. So just keep people on your toes.
I like it. I like it. That's a good life lesson. Keep people on your toes.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn because I have 7. I was going to
it.
quiz you on could you name all 7, but I didn't think that was fair because I'm not sure I can. Let me see. I'll pick Buddy today. Buddy just literally gives no you know what. I'm not sure if I can swear in our podcast. Oh, can I? Fox? Oh, he gives no fucks. Well, that's Buddy. I'm going to see how many times I can say it. And also, he just doesn't care what's happening around him. He just doesn't let it affect him whatsoever. He reminds me a little bit of the Honey Badger, if you've ever seen the Honey Badger videos.
Yes.
Yeah, he really is. He's like, I don't care. If somebody's eating something in I don't care, whatever. So I think the important life lesson from Buddy and probably Lily is, just don't take life too seriously. Yeah, just chill out. Find that ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey. Okay, so this is my next favorite part. By the way, Emily has no idea what I'm going to ask her, so it'll make it even more fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to answer some true or false questions on influencers. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's sort of rapid fire, but not rapid fire. But you have to be ready to answer.
Okay.
It's fake. Yeah, it's
Perfect.
fake. No. Okay, influencers, first question. Influencers work for free because they truly believe in your product.
False.
Influencers are represented by agents.
True. Most of the time.
Influencers require contract signed.
True.
There has to be a strategy before there is outreach.
True.
Followers can be faked or bought.
True.
Influencers charge by post or story.
True, depending. Most of the time.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Instagram is the most popular network for influencers.
True.
It can take months to coordinate and arrange the first post or story.
Definitely true.
Yep, definitely true. Influencer marketing is easy.
False.
Okay. Monitoring influencers is a 24/7 activity.
True.
Yes, true. Okay, so my hope for that was that it's a bit eye-opening for you because when you see influencers on Instagram and the way they represent their life, everything seems easy. Well, behind the scenes, there's individuals like Emily or the team at 834 that are working on behalf of clients to secure, essentially an advertising spot, because that's really what influencer marketing is. It's been deemed public relations, and we are, for the most part, helping or trying to control that message, but it is also, you are paying somebody to push that message out there. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, when you see like your celebs representing these products, they are being paid sometimes most of the time pretty significantly. So, all right, so now we're going to get into a little bit of the nitty gritty and a little bit more detail. So this is the time for you to get out your notebook and take some really interesting notes, or just listen to this podcast like 14 times. That will really help us with our data too, or our stats, or our analytics, whatever. I'll ask about that later. All right, so what is included in a strategy when you're creating a strategy for our client?
So, there's so much research that goes into it. You have to find the right people, whether it's B2C, B2B. You need to make sure that those people are going to accurately represent. If it's a product, we'll say, you need to, let's say it's a camping gear, a tent. You wouldn't reach out to someone that only covers makeup.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I think finding that audience and who those people are looking to for the hottest, newest, cool thing, and that takes a lot of time. And
There's no list out there that exists.
No.
Like, here's all the influencers in the world. Here's a comprehensive list.
right,
No.
that would be awesome. I know there are some apps and things out there that work that way, but a lot of times it just takes taking the time yourself to look it up. And
It's super time intensive.
it is. And there's a lot of lists that are out there. Somebody has compiled, top 10 beauty bloggers,
Yep.
but within a week it's outdated
Yeah.
because there's someone new that popped up. So I think the amount of time that goes into research, putting those people, the top recommendations together, and then not just saying, here are the people we'll reach out to, but what are we going to do when we reach out to them? How would we engage with this person? So it's more than just use this influencer. It's, okay, use this influencer for a blog, use this person specifically for Instagram stories because she does so many, and use this guy for a video post. So it's more than just who they are, it's how you would work together.
Well, and then from there it goes into like contacting them, which is not always the easiest. Right. And to our true and false questions before, sometimes there's an agent you deal with, and then the agent has to go back to the influencer, and then there's a bunch of back and forth, and then there's a 30-page contract you sometimes have to sign, and so you've got to have your lawyers look at that. And then from there, it's negotiating what they're going to do and determining what they're going to charge you. And then, we will try and negotiate, on behalf of our clients for that to be a lesser cost, or hopefully for us to get a little bit more out of it. That flexibility isn't always there. It's something that we do obviously on behalf of our clients, and then from there it's just, okay, well, when's it going to post? And then we've got to send the product, and that, that's got to be in a nice package with messaging that they have, and we tie that back to digital efforts. So there's a lot that goes into it.
There is a lot.
What is a common misconception when it comes to brand working with influencers, or something that you wish clients knew?
I think sometimes people think they'll do it for free.
Yeah.
Which that's probably
Who works for free?
Right, exactly. Which I think it is insulting to the influencers.
Yeah.
I know some people can say, oh, they just travel around and post about their new shoes and whatever, but they are creating these brands for themselves and this content that they have to write and publish and take photos and edit those. And so I think, they're making a living just as much as we are. So for brands to be like, why don't you do this for free? It's insulting to them, and why they would never want to work with them in the future if they.
That's also a question we will never ask an influencer.
Right.
So if you are working with 834, or if you have interest in working with us, we will not be pushing influencers to work for free. Then you have to have a budget set aside,
right?
And that budget can range.
Yeah, and there are instances, if they would do something in exchange of an experience.
Yeah.
I've worked with hotel brands and things like that where, they really want to be firsthand experiencing what they would be talking about to their audiences. So whether it's a stay at a hotel, a night out at a restaurant, or things like that. But typically, even on top of that, there would still be a cost associated with it.
Yeah.
So don't expect things for free.
Yeah. Well, and that should just really be everybody's life motto.
Right.
Don't expect things for free.
Right.
Like, it's not free.
Exactly.
How can a brand get the most out of working with an influencer?
I think the biggest thing is making sure that this person aligns well with their brand. If you pick the wrong person, you've wasted the time, the money, and then your message comes off as disingenuous when you're reaching out to an audience that either doesn't care about the message, or they're seeing through the facade of this person's being paid to do this. And, if all of a sudden they're posting about some new brand that no one has ever heard
Yep.
them talk about before. It just won't seem right. So kind of integrating it into their everyday lifestyle where it would seem natural, I think is the biggest thing.
Well, and I would say too, so you've arranged for, the coverage, the poster, the story. You also need to be thinking, like, if your overall goal is whether it's brand awareness or driving sales, then what are you doing to capture those sales from that influencer? So if that influencer is sharing something on the story, then they should have a code, or they should have something that you can track the sales through your site or through, whatever it is that you use to sell your product through. So
Right. Yeah, I think the rise of data has kind of put more pressure on influencers. It used to just be, oh, I'll write a blog about this or I'll post about this, but now brands want to know, okay, I'll work with you, but I want to see this type of ROI,
Yep.
and they want to be able to see afterwards the exact analytics, the number of people that viewed a story, the number of people who were looking at their blog and then drove traffic directly to their website. So it's more than just here's a post. It's now they're really, like I said, they're not doing this for free because there is a lot of work and pressure that goes into performing and driving sales for people.
And going back to your genuine thing too, I think it's also important to note that, like, influencers have a way that they talk to their audience, and they know their audience. You do not, as the brand or the company.
Right.
So you have to remember that they have the product, they know, they've got their agreement with you, and they have the messaging points. They're still going to use their own voice to talk about your product, and quite frankly, that's exactly what you want. Otherwise, it comes off as disingenuine, and their audience is their followers will see right through that.
Right. And you can see too sometimes I follow basically everyone that's ever been on The Bachelor because I love that show.
Yeah.
It's shameful. But I mean, you can notice as they get more popular, they immediately get more followers. And then once they start posting some of that paid content, people will start calling them out and they'll be like, you've never used this
Yep.
product before or something. So you can actively see people being called out by their audiences, and you would not want that on a post if you had
No.
done a collaboration.
Well, and I would say too, engagement after the fact. So, as a brand, you should be going in and you should be commenting. You should be sharing those, if it's a BOGO code or a free, you get something for whatever it is. Like, you should be interacting with those followers underneath that influencer's post or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, because like we say all the time, it takes more than one mention or one thing to get someone to take out their credit card or to take an action. So yeah, they might see the post in their feed, but then if you sent them either a message or commented on their comment that gave them a discount code, and then you followed up with somehow adding them to an email list, so and then encourage them to follow the page or like the page, that's how you're going to actually get people to take action. Which I think is another thing with influencer marketing. Sometimes brands think one post is going to be the be-all, end-all,
Yeah,
and
it never
sales will
is.
spike. It's something that takes time to build up, and you have to oftentimes work with more than one influencer. You have to be engaging in those comments. You have to be building that brand awareness, and it's not just going to happen overnight.
No.
I mean, unless you got like Kylie Jenner to post about
Yeah,
it or something.
yeah.
But if you have $5 million laying around,
Or you're
let
an
us know.
egg. I mean, I don't know.
Oh
Yeah.
God, the world record egg. Yes.
And we're by no means discouraging influencer marketing. It's an incredible tool to use for brand awareness and to drive sales. But what we do really want, and what I hope people take away from this podcast, is it takes time. This is not an overnight thing. There is a strategy and research that goes behind it. Once we identify an influencer, we then have to go through and make sure that they're not buying followers, and like they actually have the engagement they say that they have. And then we have to negotiate the contract and negotiate what they're going to be doing, and then it's the messaging and sending the product, and then it's scheduling it and making sure they get payment, and then monitoring. And it is a very time-intensive process. So you're not just paying for the influencer; you're also paying for an agency to manage that relationship and to ensure that things progress. So if you are going to do influencer marketing, which again we both know it is a really great tool. There is a lot more that goes into it than just reaching out to a random influencer and just saying, hey, you want to talk about my product?
Right. I think one thing that people forget too is when you reach out to the influencer, it's a two-way street. They want to work with you
Yeah.
too, or they need to want to work with you as well. Because sometimes people say no, and I actually do respect that if they feel like either the product or the service doesn't align with their audience, and that's actually a good thing, because for them to just say, I'm really true to my brand, instead of
Yeah.
sure, give me $1,000 and I'll do
Or
it.
if they represent a competing
Right,
product.
exactly. So I've had that. I've run into that too, where someone says, it's too similar to someone else I'm working working with, and I would want an influencer
Yep.
we're working with to do the same thing if a competitor had reached out.
Yep,
So,
agree.
you know, if you identify an influencer, you need to remember that you need to have good messaging, a good way to reach out to them, because they can say no to you, and then your top
Okay, so
person's gone.
we're going to go back to The Bachelor because I'm not going to let that
Okay.
just slip. Who do you like following the most?
Okay, I really like Leslie Ann Murphy. She was on, it was Ben Higgins' season, I believe, throwing it back a little bit. But she doesn't really, she's a travel blogger now. So she travels the entire world. I think she gets comped stays at hotels and a lot of visitor bureaus and things like that, or countries that people wouldn't think to travel to necessarily. So she posts a lot of really like beautiful pictures and engaging content, and she's not super in your face where it's like, look at my sugar bear hair care, whatever, or my teeth whitening thing, and where it's just a straight up product. So I think she's done a good job of taking her influence, but making it more about experiences she has instead of just throwing a product in your face.
Yeah. And before we wrap this up, I will admit that I'm not an influencer.
Yeah.
You know, one of our latest blogs talks about that I am not.
Kim's
I do
trying.
have like 600 followers, so I mean, I'm well on my way. You know, the rest of the team has things going on too. We won't even get into that because I've not been allowed to be a part of it. Apparently, no one's supporting my influencer dream. So we're gonna wrap up with rapid fire questions.
Again?
And the first thing, this is our Love of Grand Rapids segment. So
boy.
like you can do this. I believe in you.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you. You have to say the first thing that comes to mind. It could even be not even relevant to what I'm asking you. Okay.
That's dangerous.
What's your favorite GR restaurant?
Donkey.
What's your favorite GR happy hour?
Donkey.
Is Donkey gonna be
I love
every answer?
margaritas.
What's your favorite GR neighborhood?
East Town.
What's your favorite shopping spot?
Online.
Online? It's fine. I was hoping you were going to say
Target.
Rubble.
That's
Oh,
not
Target.
even-
That's fine too. That's not GR shopping,
It's
but I
fine.
mean, it's around here. What's your favorite GR grocery store?
Trader Joe's.
Okay.
Is that downtown?
I don't know. We're gonna count that for you.
Okay, well, that's fine.
What's your favorite GR parking garage?
What the?
None of them.
There's some really beautiful ones downtown. I mean, wow.
All right. What's your favorite GR farmers market booth?
Fulton. Can I say I've never been to the farmers market? Okay.
You can, and now we're
But
never
I've
gonna let you
seen
live
it.
that down. Okay. What's your favorite GR outdoor spot?
Well, okay. The park over by Aquinas, I don't know what it's called, but I eat ice cream there sometimes. It's really beautiful.
I don't know what it's called either. And now I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay.
It's
What's
that
your
one
favorite
over
GR festival?
Festival of the Arts.
Okay. What's your favorite GR patio? Donkey.
Yeah.
See, I even knew before you.
They need to pay us now. for
Yeah,
this.
exactly. Now we're influencers,
We're
for
influencers
Donkey.
for Donkey.
We were not paid for that. This is not a paid segment. All right, Emily, thank you for joining us. You have officially been hustled. Till next time, hustlers. We'll see you on the download.